We're only in the second quarter of Daf Zayin, Utstuki. We're in the middle of discussing the dangers of Hashem when Hashem gets angry. There was Utstuki. There's a person who didn't believe in Torah. It was called Utstuki, the Rav Moshe Binyomin Levi. Havi Kamitztar Leituve, and this Tzuki was causing terrible tsar to Yeshua ben Levi. Because one day, Shokol Tanagol, so he had fed up with it. He said, I have to stop this. This is impossible. I have to stop the Tuki. Took a chicken, and he tied him up on his bed. But he says, you know what? I know in the first 3 hours, there's a simin when a Kadosh Baruch Hu gets angry. And he's going to turn white. So Kimati Ishaita Alata. When it gets to that moment, I curse him. And I know at that moment Hashem is angry. It's a very dangerous time. Kimati Ishaita Nim. When that moment came, he fell asleep. And so I see, when something happened, when you're planning something and it goes wrong, and and maybe what he was doing was somewhat questionable as well. So I said, this is enough of an indication of a simon in Shemayim that it's wrong. Lav urach ara. It's not necessarily, but it's wrong. It's lav urach ara. It's not derech eretz l'nei barachos. Because you know what? It says, that really, we always have to try to have rachmanis. Ksiv gam enosh tzaddik, for the tzaddik have to give the punishment is not a good thing. When the sun rises, sun shines, and the day begins. And what happens when the day begins, we know that the kings, the Malchei Nisach Umayrav, all the kings of Manichim Tisraim V'Hashem, and what do? They worship the sun, Mishtachim Nechama. Niyad Koyes HaKadosh Baruch. That's when the Kadosh Baruch Hu gets angry. It's another logic to assume this is a time when the Kadosh Baruch Hu gets angry. So when a person's own bitterness and regret in his heart is much more powerful than Kama Malkios, than when he gets punished, and he gets actually Malkus and punishment, it's not as effective as his own feelings of regret. Shenema v'rodfa es ma'aveha v'alma elcha v'shuva isha rishon ki toiv lo yaz me'ata. The Navi says that when Klal Yisrael will regret, they're turning away from Hashem and they want to go back to my first husband, to Hashem. Ki toiv lo yaz me'ata. That would be better for me than now. Now, when you're just getting punished and suffering, and you're going back to Hashem. But when you realize on your own, and they have a ratzon to go back, that's much more powerful. In fact, it's greater than 100 malkios. It's preferable someone who understands the Ga'ara, the Hashem's look of disappointment more than the hitting, the whipping of Exil 100 times. The three things Hashem asked He asked him that Hashem should rest the Shekhinah on the Jewish people, and he gave that to him. Number two, don't put on the Goyim. Package 3, I want to understand the ways of Hashem and Otzallah. I understand. How does the world work? Sometimes the tzaddik, it's good, but the tzaddik, he suffers. And there's a Rosh, it's good, but he's Rosh Rabbi. Moshe said, he said, Moshe tzaddik v'toivloi, tzaddik. Well, it depends. There's a tzaddik, ben tzaddik. The tzaddik v'raloi. So tzaddik, the son of a tzaddik, is good. Tzaddik v'raloi is a tzaddik ben Rasha. Rasha v'toivloi is he gets the schar of the father. Rasha ben tzaddik, Rasha v'raloi, Rasha ben Rasha. So he's analyzing. Now, this is going to be questioned. That's a little bit that doesn't make sense. One second. Telling me Tzaddik v'teiv tzaddik ben tzaddik, tzaddik v'ralo tzaddik ben Russia. How can it be? See, pocket oven ovos abonim, so bonim lo yimsu al ovos. That the bonim don't suffer from the father. So why the tzaddik ben Russia? Why does he suffer? We see. We're going to explain. Sorry, excuse me. We asked the stira in the psukim. Rami Karadodi. And there's one pasuk saying, yes, break it oven oven. They will get panah. It says they won't. And we answer Lakasha, Hakish Oiksam Maisim Semidayim. Hakish Ain Oiksim Maisim Madayim. So if he's a tzaddik, he's obviously not Oikhis Maisim Madayim. So why would he that's we on that pasuk say that we don't say we say Lo Yumsu Avos Abonim. So it doesn't make sense. What's the explanation of tzaddik in Russia? It makes no sense. So we have to suggest a new alternative explanation in why sometimes we find that a tzaddik suffers. There's a tzaddik and there's a tzaddik. Not every tzaddik is a complete, perfect tzaddik. So tzaddik v'toiv, that's a tzaddik gomer. Is an imperfect tzaddik. So Hashem still gives him some suffering in order to purify him even more. And Rosh v'toiv the Rosh Yeshiva gomer, Rosh v'raloi. That would be Rosh Gomer. There's zero schusim, there's nothing to give him schar at all. Now, this is plea to Rameir. This disagrees with Rameir, because Rameir said, that really, in fact, one of the requests that Moshe made, he was not given. Achas loy nostaloi. Sorry, I can't explain it to you. No, there is no explanation. You won't understand it. Pasuk says, you won't be able to see. What does that mean? When I offered you, he said, no, I can't. I don't want. Now that is Pligi de B'Shum Barachmeini. I'm not very soon. With the three things that he did, he was zeicher the three things. Schar, that he says, that he covered his face from the fear of Hashem. Zocher the cluster upon him. He got a special cluster upon him, a special kedusha on his face. Schar kiyara, that he was afraid. Zocher levayiru migesh selov. They were afraid of him. Schar mehibit, from not looking at Hashem. Zocher the Tmunas Hashem Yabit. So in fact, he was able in the end to see Hashem. Pasuk says, that I will see the back of Hashem. He was able to see the back, not the tefillin, on the back of his head. The back now. We have a rule. Whenever HaKadosh Baruch Hu says something tova, on a davar toiv, he will never back off. I will make you into a great nation. Now, I forgot the boy Moshe Rachmiel. He said, I'll destroy Klal Yisrael, make you into a great nation. Now, even though Moshe begged mercy, Ubitla, he said, no, I don't want that. And the HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepted that. But nevertheless, the promise was fulfilled. Ukmi bizarre, Shenema b'nei Moshe, Gershom, Eliezer, Yubnei Eliezer, Rechavia, Rosh, Rechavia, Rabu, Lamala. There were many Agoy Otzum, many descendants of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Tani of Yosef, Lamala b'Shishim Ribui. There were more than Shishim Ribui, than 600,000. Osi, Ravia, Ksiv Hocha, Rabu. Just like in the Mitzrayim, so to here there were 600,000.